Good morning, Facebook family and friends. We are live at SeaWorld San Diego and we are celebrating a very special birthday today. Today is Orkid's 29th birthday. Now, it was 29 years ago where I started working here at SeaWorld, and I'd been here for 4 months, and my boss asked if I wanted to come and witness the birth of a killer whale. So that day, who would have thought, although I dreamed that I would one day be able to work with such an amazing animal, who thought that I would make my dream come true and be able to work with her and our other 9 killer whales. So focus your attention. Orkid's coming out of our back over one of her favorite things she likes to do. It's called a slide over. So we're gonna get things going here and we can focus over towards our back pool. Now all the whales seem to really enjoy this type of enrichment, and oftentimes we'll open up these slide overs so the whales can move about throughout the entire facility. And where's our birthday girl? There she is.
She's coming.
So as I said earlier, she is 29 years old and we have a lot of fun planned for her today. So we're gonna get a little bit closer. Katie has spent 2 days preparing for her birthday, and these are all gelatin. They're all molds. And so it's one of her favorite things, because watch as she has learned how to maneuver her mouth to get these jellos from the glass. So, and watch here. Oh, look at that. She's got 3 at once.
Fans, send us those heart emojis. It is Orkid's birthday, and this is her day, so send us those heart emojis if you're enjoying this.
Now, one of the things that the behaviorists always talk about Orkid is just how intelligent she is. And you saw it took her a little while to get that first jello off, but look at that. She learns very quickly the method and how to maneuver her mouth to get the gelatin off of the glass.
Oh my goodness.
Now, if you saw earlier on Instagram, we posted a message because we want our fans to go to SeaWorldCares.com and look at our top 10 tips for conserving animals and their habitats. And we're going to ask you a question in a moment, and the first person to get it right will have the opportunity to pick 2 of 4 of her behaviors that she can pair together.
Look at her eyes. Look how focused she is.
Let's get up close to the eyes.
For those of you just joining us, we are live at SeaWorld San Diego. We're celebrating Orkid's 29th birthday. She was the first successful killer whale birth here at SeaWorld San Diego, and she is one of 7 killer whales born here.
So, Christy, can you explain again what exactly she's going after here?
So this is gelatin. Katie spent 2 days preparing for her birthday, much like a lot of parents out there when you prepare for your child's birthday. We know Orkid, through working with her for 29 years, we know the things that she finds reinforcing or rewarding. And so Katie prepared all of these gelatins. It doesn't contain any sugar, so it's natural. In fact, she gets some water from the gelatin cubes that she's eating. So this is just a fun enrichment for her. And the trainers have found when they can place the suction onto the acrylic glass, it becomes a puzzle for her. So how does she maneuver those gelatins around to get them from the acrylic glass? And she seems to really enjoy this.
There's a lot of heart emojis coming through. Oh, look at that. She got it.
Now, Orkid has taught us a lot over the 29 years. Obviously, we've had 29 full years to understand natural growth rates of killer whales. We've also been able to understand their intelligence. And of course, because of our connection with her, she's participated in many research projects here because she seems to pick up on behaviors very quickly. So she's aided in understanding killer whale hearing rates. We were able to take photographs, aerial photographs, to understand actual size and collect data so that we can share with researchers out in the wild to assess killer whales' overall health status in wild populations. She's also taken part in a CO2 study, and more recently we're looking at something new. A research project that we're currently working on is taking blood samples and blow samples to establish different stress parameters in killer whales. So we can understand the difference between healthy stress and maybe stress that's indicative of wild populations, and see if we can try and help eliminate some of those stress parameters out in the wild.
It's amazing.
So again, if you joined us, here's our question for you. If you've gone on SeaWorldCares.com and looked up our top 10 tips for conserving marine mammals in their habitats, we want to know what number 7 is. 7 is the number of successful births we've had here at SeaWorld San Diego. So the first person to tell us what the 7th tip is, you'll have the opportunity to select the behaviors to demonstrate Orkid's intelligence by pairing behaviors together. So we have a number of different behaviors here at SeaWorld, and everyone interacts with Orkid. We have different levels of relationships and bonds with her. So I'm going to turn it over to Katie, and she's going to talk about a very important topic related to wild killer whales and wild animals.
So real quick, Christy, before we do that, I just want to clarify that they need to go to SeaWorld Cares, the blog, SeaWorldCares.com, right?
Correct.
And they need to look for what's the title of the blog?
It's the top 10 tips for conserving marine animals and their habitats. And
so that's the blog post.
That's
they have
right.
to find that blog post.
And tell us what number 7 is. 7 is the number of whales we've had here at SeaWorld San Diego.
All right, so go to SeaWorld Cares, the blog, see what that is, and first person who gives us that tip, in the comments, we'll be able to select the behavior. So, all right, let's get back to Katie.
All right, hi everyone. I'm going to show you some important things with Orkid. Because we work with Orkid so closely, we have an incredible relationship. I have been so fortunate with working here at Orca Encounter for almost 6 years, and I've been working with this beautiful girl for almost 5. And our relationship continues to grow. But we're going to take her up here so you guys can get a closer look at her since she ate all of her jello. Come on, sweetie.
And I'm going to take the camera from Jenica so we can get you closer to Orkid.
With Orkid is constantly growing every time I interact with her and play with her, and this is super important because she is a very large animal. She's 6,330 pounds and 19 feet long, and she's so calm and trusting with me that I can actually ask her to roll over, and we're going to check out her tail flukes. Now this is the powerhouse of the killer whale. It's their engine, and it can propel them to speeds of almost 30 miles per hour, and here they are. She has very beautiful tail flukes. So there's lobes on either side of tail flukes. And again, this is the powerhouse of the killer whale. And you can see how comfortable she is with me just giving her a tail fluke rub. She seems to really enjoy it. She's kind of turning into it. Now, this is incredible because, again, she is so large, but I can get nice and close to her tail flukes. So a lot of times when wild marine cetaceans or whales and dolphins get entangled in the open ocean, a lot of times things are entangled on their flukes. Now, because she allows me to get nice and close to her, we have learned so much about working around large animals, how to be safe, how to be in the right proximity, just to know their basic physical states, all these things. So this allows us to really be comfortable and understand what we need to do when working with wild animals out in the wild. Now, granted, there are definitely some larger whales out there, especially the baleen whales, but just getting comfortable working around a large animal and her just showing us basically anything about her and her physical characteristics that really allow us to understand her, which will help us in our rescue and rehabilitation of wild animals. So again, this takes days and days and years of working with her for this nice, calm trust. I do not take it for granted. It is one of the most wonderful feelings when you gain a killer whale's trust, because they are an apex predator. And she just allows me to look at her body and get close, so I get more and more comfortable with her, and then we can tell our rescue staff exactly what they need to do and how they need to be safe and careful in the proximity of the whale for when they're rescuing wild animals. So this one is a sweet one, and man, she has my heart.
So many people may not know that we actually have experts here at SeaWorld San Diego that go out to help rescue entangled whales out in the wild, and of course they've also had opportunities to work with the animals here, such as Orkid and all of our other killer whales, to understand how to safely interact and maneuver around these powerful tail flukes. So if you didn't know that fact, fans, send us those wow emojis. We would really love to see them. So Katie, you made something else special for her today. What is that?
So we made a special 29 because it is her 29th birthday. This beautiful girl turns 29 today. So again, we have some great, wonderful Jell-O, and I think Mike is going to help me out.
Happy birthday, sweet girl. If you love this whale as much as we do, send us those heart emojis. All right, so looks like our trainers made her a special 29 gelatin.
Shall we bring her up so you guys can see how truly large she is real quick?
I think that's a great idea.
Then we'll, of course, let her enjoy her 29. Come here, pretty girl. Very nice.
So this slide out behavior is a natural behavior that killer whales do in the wild. They'll typically do this to slide up to capture their prey, like sea lions or seals.
Oh. All right, so I'm going to give her 9. As you can see, she loved it. And now I'm going to pass her off to one of her other behaviorist friends, Mike, and he's going to show you her incredible intelligence. This whale awes me on a daily basis with how she's able to put things together. So I'm going to let Mike talk a little bit more about that. So when she's done eating her 9, good girl, I'm going to go ahead and say, here you go, Mike.
Okay, so before we get started, it looks like our fan Bob Morrow was the first person to respond. Number 7 is to learn more about marine mammals. And of course, zoos and aquariums like SeaWorld is one of the many facilities that you can learn more about these animals, but not just learn about them. You get this close to a killer whale, look into their eyes and develop a deep connection with them. And I feel strongly that this experiential learning creates an enduring moment with these animals. And I think that people are more apt to want to help protect their wild counterparts. So Bob Morrow, if you want to tell us, we have 4 behaviors for you: a bow, a squirt, a peck wave, and a vocal. So if you want to pick 2 or 3 of those 4 behaviors, we'll have Mike talk about what we're going to demonstrate. This is part of her intelligence. So Bob Morrow, go ahead and tell us what 3 of those 4 behaviors you would like to see Orkid demonstrate. So what are we talking about here, Mike?
All right, so first off, thank you, Bob, for participating. Congratulations. One of my favorite things about Orkid is how athletic she is. Now, I've been a fan of her a long time ago. I still have a newspaper cutting of when Orkid was born from the good old Whittier Daily News. And she and I have been able to develop a very great relationship over the past few years. She's one of my favorite animals on the planet. And like I said, and like Katie said, and like Christy said, she is incredibly smart and incredibly athletic. I can barely walk and chew gum at the same time, and Orkid can do some pretty incredible behavior at the same time as well. So as soon as we get Bob his answer.
Okay, we have his answer.
Okay.
Bob, thank you, Bob. He would like to see a vocal, a squirt, and a wave.
A vocal, a squirt, and a wave. Okay. All right, so we're going to do vocals. All right. Don't squirt. Don't squirt, Bob. And a wave. All right. Here we go. We're going to do vocal, squirt, wave. See if she can get them all.
Yeah!
Oh, there you go, Bob.
And actually, Bob, I think he had you for a minute, right, Mike?
You had me for a second there, too, Bob.
Those typically aren't 3 that we put together.
And she did it. She had no problem doing it. I had to think about it in my head. Orkid had it the entire time, so it's very, very impressive. So I mean, she can not only do those things in front of you, those things that take a lot of thought, but she can also be very powerful. So Christy, do you think we could add that 4th one in there?
I think so. What about you, Facebook friends? If you want to see that 4th one, let's see those like emojis.
I think we could. All right. So what was it, Christy? We had a squirt, a bow, a wave, and a vocal, right?
Correct.
All right. I think Orkid can get them all going. Do we have enough thumbs ups?
Not yet.
Oh.
I want to see more. Send us those.
No, we need some more.
Those like emojis. That's right. Orkid wants to see them.
So yeah, if you guys have been to the Orca encounter yet, and you've been lucky enough to see Orkid in action, she's unmissable. She is beautiful. She's kind of a diva, extremely athletic, and again, extremely intelligent. And I get so much joy working with her every single day, coming in here to work with this incredible animal. Like Katie said, she isn't predator. So the fact that she trusts us so much is an incredible connection, and and like Katie said again, never take it for granted. It is very, very special.
So Mike, many people may not know this, but you actually developed a love for Orkid through your wife.
That's right. My wife used to work at Orkid Encounter as well. She's still in the park, but she had a great relationship with Orkid as well. So actually one of the first things, this is going to be really cheesy, sorry honey, one of the first things that brought us together was our love for this animal. We would talk about her, I would ask her questions about Orkid, and that's kind of what some of our conversations started. And of course that bloomed into what kind of music do you like, what kind of movies do you like, but it almost all started with this one right here.
Yes.
Yes, it did, yeah.
All right,
our son gets to see him too.
Your son, you
Yes.
bring your son in to see Orkid.
Yeah.
That's
How are we
awesome.
doing on those thumbs up?
We got a lot. Let's see it.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do a vocal, squirt, peck wave, bow. All right, Bob. This one's for you.
All right, so we're looking for all 4 of those behaviors paired together. Very nice. Let's see those wow emojis if that was truly remarkable.
You got all 4. Good job, Orkid. Very nice.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Well, if you are joining us today for Orkid Encounter, we have a 12 o'clock presentation where you can learn more about killer whales, and we will be celebrating this beautiful whale's 29th birthday for all of our guests. Now, one thing I want to share is, although we are celebrating her birthday, we're also celebrating the last day of one of our beloved behaviors. Her name is Autumn. And Autumn, you want to talk a little bit about Orkid and your last day here at SeaWorld?
Definitely. Hi, Facebook fans. My name is Autumn, and I want all of you to know that even though you leave SeaWorld, SeaWorld is the kind of place that never, ever leaves you. Working with Orkid and all of these whales is so inspirational. This place is like a second home, and these animals and these coworkers, they're a second family. And I will forever support SeaWorld and their mission. We want to conserve our oceans. Our research is invaluable. The things we learn about these animals are helping protect their natural wild species. So I love SeaWorld, and they're never leaving right here. They're always home.
Thank you, Autumn, for all your love and support and your passion and over 10 years of dedication to the animals here at SeaWorld. We're going to miss you, but we're going to have a fun day celebrating you and Orkid.
Most definitely. Love you guys, love Facebook, and we love SeaWorld.